Hello once again, amazing coders. Welcome back to another exciting box programming lesson. I hope you're ready to continue your coding adventure because today we are going to learn one of the most powerful ideas in programming. But before we begin, let's quickly remember what we learned in our previous lesson. Last time we learned how to use movement, stamps, to create animations. We also design beautiful app interface using drawing commands like box, circle, and text. Those projects look fantastic, but have you wondered, or have you ever wondered, what if you don't want our animation to start immediately? What if you want it to begin only when someone taps the screen? That's exactly what you will learn today. Let's get started. What's today's mission? Today's lesson is all about functions. Functions allows us to decide when certain parts of our code should run. Not every code should run immediately we press the play button. So we can use the function to do that. So we can tell the computer to wait, then something special happens like tapping or dragging the screen, the code will run. So by the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to do the following things. Understand what function is, know the difference between predefined and user-defined function, use function keyword, create your first tap function, and experiment with drag and touching functions. Let's begin. What is a function? Imagine you are using a TV remote. The television doesn't change the channels until you press a button. Or think about a doorbell. Nothing happens until someone press it. Function works in the same way. A function is simply a group of code that awaits or instruction until it's needed. When something happens, the function tells the computer, now it is time to run this code. Function help programmers organize their code and make apps interactive. So why do we use functions? Without functions, every line of code will run immediately when the app starts. We don't want that, of course. Yes, that's the beauty part of it. Sometimes that's exactly what we might want, but many times we want the app to wait for the user to interact with it before any action has been done. For example, maybe a game should only begin after pressing the start button, or maybe music should only play after tapping a button, or maybe an object should move only when we drag it. Function make all this possible. So what is the symbol of a function? Have you noticed something interesting about many Bitsbox commands? If you look at the command as you can see on the screen, commands like tap, drag, touching, or loop all have things in common. They all end with parentheses. Can you see it? They end with parentheses. Now, these parentheses are one of the symbols that tell us we are working with a function. Hope you understand that, right? We are looking at a function. So whenever you see this bracket after a name of a word or sentence, it means that's a function. So there are different types of functions we have, but there are two main types we are going to be talking about. The first type is the predefined function. These are functions that Bitbox has already created and Bitbox knows already. You can see them there. These are all the functions you can use: drag, send, tap, touch. And we also have another thing, but we're not going there yet. These are functions Bitbox already knows. We don't create their names. We simply just use them because they have been created already. Examples are tap, drag, touching, or loop, as you can see here. So these are functions that have been created already. The second type of function is a user-defined function. A user-defined function. These are functions that programmers create themselves. You can create function change level, function score, function kill the enemy, different functions. So the user chooses the name and decide what it should do. Today we'll begin by using the predefined functions already available in Bitbox. All right, so we are going to be using our previous project. So now let's begin to learn the 3 steps for creating function. So step 1, you write the keyword. Function tells Bitbox what you are creating. For example, now this is what you're going to type: function, like this. So that's the keyword. Step 2, choose the function event. For this lesson, we'll use a tab. So you can right tab. So this is how you write your function. You write the keyword, then the name of the function, then you put the parentheses. Very important. Step 3, then you add a curly bracket. So this is the curly bracket, like this. So we'll learn what the curly bracket is all about. Those curly brackets are also called a block in Bitsbox. So everything inside the blocks run together whenever the function is activated. So we can bring this down like this. So we type our code, all our code in between these two curly brackets. So let's use this project to test this out. So if you have not opened your forest project within the previous lesson, open it right now. So now, in the previous one, you can see when we have the previous one here, if you look at this one here, the movement starts immediately. The movement starts immediately. But today, we are going to improve it. Instead of moving automatically, we'll make everything wait until someone taps the screen. So you can do, you can just copy this part of the code. Then you create a new app. You can click on this. I already have the new app. Then you paste the code there, just like you can see on my screen. All right, amazing. So now, so when you put everything there like this, now you play it. You can see nothing happens. So you want to create a function that will determine what will happen. So we'll make everything wait until someone tap the screen. We'll place the movement code inside our tap function. So if you go to the previous one again, you can use this one. So now this is the movement code. These are the movement code. We are going to place all this code in the tap function and watch how it works. So now let's see what we're going to do. So I'm going to copy this and I go to my previous other projects. Try the function, that's the keyword first. The spelling is very important. Then tap and open and close bracket, the curly bracket, press enter. And I paste, you have to indent it, then you paste everything there. So look at this now. So you can make them on the same line like this. This is very beautiful. So you can see what this is all about. So let's click on the play now. You can see they are not moving, but when I tap, they all move. Amazing. Can you see? So unlike the previous project, whereby we have here that when you click on the play, they all move immediately. But this project here, you have to do something before they move. You tap on the screen, then they move. All right, so let's understand the tap function. So our code begins with function tap. Can you see it here? So the word function tells Bitsbox we are creating a function. If we just write tap without this function, Bitsbox will not know what to do. So then you write the name of the function, that's the word tap. Then you put the parenthesis, very important. So the word tap tells Bitsbox the event should activate it, which event should be activated. So after that, now put a curly bracket, two curly brackets. In between the curly brackets, that's when you put all your code. So now, when you have done all this now, so when someone taps the screen, the code will run. So only then does Bitsbox run the code inside the block. So let's try the drag instead of tap. So let's change this tap to drag. All right, so let's play. Now I tap, nothing is happening, I'm tapping, but if I drag something like this, you can see they start moving. You see now. So when we drag, the movement begins. So let's try touching. Let's try touching. Let's replace drag with touch. So touch means when your mouse is on the screen. So now my mouse is not on the screen. So I put my mouse on the screen like this, or just click and they work. So now observe it. When you touch the part of the screen, everything works importantly and perfectly. So why are functions important? Functions make our app smart. Instead of everything happening at once, user can interact with the app. Functions are used in games, mobile apps, music players, calculators, shopping apps, and so much more. Almost every app today uses function. It depends on function. But as you continue learning programming, you will use function in almost every project you build. So challenge time. Yes. Now it's your turn. Open your first project. Try placing the movement code inside the tab. So you have your movement code. Create a function tab, put your code inside, then try it out. After you're done that, try dragging or try touching. Then run your project after each change and observe how each function behaves differently. Which one do you like best? Now let's look at the common mistakes we have to take note of. So let's avoid some common mistakes. Don't forget to write the word function. Very important. Then next thing, don't forget to include parentheses after the function name. It can be anything. So, but you have to put this parentheses there after it. It's very important. The next thing is don't forget the opening and the close curly bracket. Then inside it, you put your code. To make sure every line of code you want is controlled by the function. That means it's placed in between the curly bracket. I would say the curly bracket is also called the block. That's the block where you put the code. So if the code is outside the bracket, it won't work. For example, if I delete this now, let's see, nothing happens. It didn't work. So I have to make sure everything is intact and then it works. So now you've learned everything today. Let's have a summary of what you've learned today. So you learn what function is, why programmers use functions, the difference between predefined and user-defined functions, how to create a function, how to use the tap event, how to use the drag and touching event, and while curly brackets are called a block. Now you are becoming a real programmer. Excellent job today. Keep practicing by adding different functions to your Bitbox project. Experiment with tap, drag, and touching to see how your app becomes more interactive. Remember, programming isn't just about writing code. It's about deciding when your code should run. I'll see you in our next exciting Bitbox lesson. Until then, keep coding, keep experimenting, and have fun. See you next time.